Welcome back to Spooky Scary Storytime, the playlist where I share all of your most unbelievable tales that you claim are true. Now, keep in mind, I can't prove the legitimacy of any of these emails. These are just things that y'all have sent me saying, nobody else believes me. And my whole thing is I do. I will, and I will put this here for posterity, for everybody else to decide. I am just an archivist of sorts, and the story I'm going to share today is one of the first stories that I shared on Spooky Scary Storytime. It was from an influencer who claimed that she had been in Los Angeles's underground tunnels with a prominent Hollywood actor. Now, when I first posted this story, it blew up, and I got all kinds of feedback, some people saying that it was completely made up, some that said I believe it, some that even said I've been down there. And one thing that I really thought was interesting when I initially posted this story was I noticed a huge uptick in celebrities and influencers who started to follow me. I don't know if that was because they were genuinely curious, but there were some pretty prominent names. And I've talked to some of these people. Others have just kind of been quietly watching from the sidelines, and I'm just mutuals with them on various platforms. But I definitely thought it was interesting, especially because it came so much after the initial posting of this video. There were even some comments on the initial video, which was posted to TikTok originally, from prominent celebrity names. And one in particular said, "This sounds like a movie." There were others that seemed to dislike me immediately for sharing this story. Some that watched almost everything I did and left very hateful comments. And I'm not going to name any names because these are all public comments. You can do some investigating if you're that curious and do it for yourself. I'm just not trying to get in trouble for talking smack about anybody, especially people of that caliber over here on the internet. It's just a pattern that I'm noticing, and I thought it was strange. Other people have been super cool. All of that said, another piece of added context I wanted to add here is once I posted that video, I did receive a tag in another video from someone who was claiming that they had worked in Starbucks in these underground tunnels in Los Angeles. And again, I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't spend much time in LA. I live in Nashville. But this person said that they worked in the Starbucks in the tunnels and that they had signed an NDA, but that these tunnels absolutely exist and that they're used by A-listers and all kinds of very wealthy people in order to get from point A to point B. All of that said, I'm going to let this video play. Also, if you're new here, these old videos that I'm posting are in very fast-paced format. If you don't like that, you can set the playback speed slow. But the reason that they were told in a very fast-paced way was because they were originally posted to short-form platforms. And while I'm aware that I could re-record the stories, I think it's important to include them in their full context in the way that they were originally told, just as to not leave anything out. You know, there's always things that we think about afterward or before, and I don't want to be biased because I've already told the story and read the comments. So I'm just going to put that here. I'm just kind of archiving this one in a way, which is my goal in these YouTube videos now, as well as to do deep dives on subjects that I haven't covered yet. If you have a subject that you want me to cover, if you've sent a story and you want me to talk about it, leave a comment. Let me know what you're interested in hearing about. Do you like the crazy roommate stories? Do you like the supernatural stories? Do you like the paranormal, like aliens? What do you guys like? Because I'm here for it, and I greatly value your feedback. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoy the story. Let me know your thoughts.
A very popular influencer on this app slid into my DMs and she's like, "I've been watching your spooky scary story times. They're always on my For You page and I have a creepy story for you, but you have to keep me anonymous." And this one is good. She told me it involves a very high profile Hollywood actor. To be fair, she did not tell me who it is, so don't be asking me because I don't know. She started her DM by saying that she's wanted to tell this story on her own page for a while, but she signed an NDA and she can't risk getting into legal trouble, but she's still curious to what people think. So she said 2 years ago she was in LA at a red carpet premiere with a friend of hers who's a model. The premiere wraps up, they go to an after party, and at the after party is a very prominent Hollywood actor. She says it's a household name. Everybody knows who he is. He is significantly older than her. She's in her mid-20s. She said her and the actor were making eyes all night, but they didn't really talk except for once when they were at the bar at the same time, and he complimented her drink choice. Her and her friend decide to leave around 1:30 in the morning. They're walking toward the door. The actor is by the door. He stops them. He's like, "Where are y'all going?" She tells him they have no plans. He's like, "We should be friends on Instagram." So he adds her on Instagram. She's all excited about it, but doesn't really think anything comes of it. She said that she's used to being around very famous people and nothing ever happens. So they're in the Uber on the way back to her friend's house when he DMs her and he's like, "Hey, if you want to keep this party going, you can come over to my place. I can send you a car." Her friend's like gassing her up. She's like, "Yes, girl, go get it." Like she thinks they're going to hook up. So she goes back to her friend's place. He sends an Uber to pick her up and takes her to a house in the hills. She says the Uber pulls up to a gate with an intercom system and the Uber driver's like, "What do I do?" And she's like, "I don't even know if he knows my full name." So she tells the Uber driver his name. He's like, "Hey, I'm dropping off so-and-so." And there's just like silence on the other end of the intercom. So she DMs the guy. She's like, "Hey, I'm here." He DMs her back after like a minute and he's like, "Okay, like just go in. You beat me home. She gets dropped off, walks up to the door, knocks on the door, and like the help, I guess, answers the door. She said when she got there, she was a little bit put off because there were other people there, and the help takes her phone and has her sign an NDA. And she said that she didn't recognize anybody that was there, but there were probably like 15 people all kind of scattered around the living room and the kitchen, just drinking and making themselves at home. A lot of them were sitting around boredly, just like in like quiet conversations with each other. So she just goes and like takes a seat. He walks in after about 15 minutes and goes like straight over to her, leads her to his bedroom. They hook up. She actually said it was very vanilla, very boring. She thinks she's going to go. He's like, do you want to go to another party? There's something else happening tonight. And she's like, okay, sure. So he leads her down this back stairwell in the back corner of one of the rooms in his house. And it's like a warehouse type garage. He's got a bunch of cars parked down there and they get in the back of this unmarked black SUV. She says the car is driving underground in tunnels for about 20 minutes and she's trying to make like light conversation with him. Like, where are we going? Like, whose party is this? And he's just like, oh, it's a really good time. Like, you'll like it when we get there. But she said he was very stoic, like did not talk to her more than a few words at a time. The car pulls out of the tunnel and they are in front of this big warehouse. And she said she didn't recognize anything around it. She has no idea where they were. She said probably 20 minutes in any direction from the hills. It's still dark out. They walk up to the front of this warehouse. There's like big steel doors and there's a couple bouncers outside in like black suits. They open the doors, they let them in. And she said it's all red lit inside and the whole warehouse was sectioned off into different areas. To her immediate left when she walked in was a bar. To the right was a small circle with a short fence surrounding the circle. And in the middle of the circle was a woman. Outside the circle was a guy dressed as a bullfighter and there were about 20 people watching this. So she looks at the actor and she's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's kind of like an art installation. Like there's just different spectacles to see. She said some areas were not that abnormal. Like one area just had a tarot card reader. So there was another area with just some couches and speakers and a DJ. And in that area, the DJ was just playing this like very electronic bass heavy music with metal noises. And there were people with power tools making sparks fly everywhere. I don't know. So they're just sitting in there having some drinks, listening to the music for a little while when she feels somebody tap her and she turns around and there's a guy standing with a wolf mask on in like normal street clothes, but just like a giant wolf mask with the mouth open. And he's like, hey, and the actor she's with grabs her and like pulls her away. And she's like, what was that? And he's like, you're not ready for that crowd yet. They're walking around looking at all the different installations or exhibits, I guess. And they get to like a far back corner. And she said there were two people, a man and a woman, and they were blindfolded. And in front of them on the floor was a bunch of broken glass. And she said when they got over there were like 40 people all standing around, like watching them. And the people all watching them were encouraging them to like take steps forward. She said she looked down at their feet and could tell that at some points they had misstepped and stepped on broken glass. Both the man and the woman were standing still when somebody in the crowd threw a glass at them and was like, move. So she got upset at this point and she like grabs the actor and she's like, I don't like this. Like, I want to go. And he tries to calm her down. He's like, everybody that is here willingly. Like, it's with consent. It's just an installation. I told you that. And she's like, I don't like this. It's creeping me out. Like, I want to leave. So he's reluctant, but he agrees. So they go back outside. They get in the black unmarked SUV and they start driving, but they don't go back in the tunnel. They're taking a different road and she doesn't recognize anything. So they're driving for like 10 minutes. Mind you, she still doesn't have her phone and they pull up to this gas station. The car stops. He's like, this is your stop. The driver hands her her phone and they're like, get out. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know where I am. He's like, get out. So she gets out of the car and the car pulls away. She opens Insta to DM him and he already has blocked her. So she has to call her own Uber. She said it took like 10 minutes for the guy to get there and then it was 40 minutes till she got home. She said she's been wondering literally for like 2 years now what she saw at that party, especially with everything that's coming out about Hollywood. So she's curious to what you guys think. It did come from her actual account and like this could be a made up story. However, I did look at her account. Like she is huge on this app. I don't know why she would lie about this, especially being anonymous. Let me know what you think and keep sending me your spooky scary stories and I'll keep adding them to this playlist. Also, I have polls on my Insta every day on the next spooky scary story I tell.